First of all, Mr. Malden, I want to say to you, thank you for being with us and taking the time. We know that you're a busy gentleman, but also thank you for all the work that you do for our community. It is so appreciated.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. In spite of this is normally my nap time, but I don't mind being up for this.
We appreciate it.
Anytime we can talk to parents who are dealing with kids with autism and in their family or in their classrooms or just in general, it's a joy. It's a pleasure. My daughter is a gift to our family, Stephanie. Well, she's 24 years old.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because I think people want to know, how did Stephanie's Day, which is named for your daughter, how did this come into being?
Well, first of all, it's named for Stephanie, but it's about kids like Stephanie. And it's not about our family. It's about families like ours. We just happen to be one of them. It started when I was running television stations for CBS in South Florida. And it was about 16 years ago, and Stephanie was about 8 years old. And what happened was there was just so little knowledge about autism, so little knowledge about autism, so few places for us to do things with her that we felt comfortable taking her. And there was not really much of a network for parents to socialize that shared this same kind of situations that we did. And when we moved to South Florida to Miami from Tampa, the school that Stephanie went to had never had a child with autism before. And we had to bring a child psychologist from the University of South Florida down to meet with the entire staff to talk about the things that these teachers were going to be dealing with as they took on a child with autism, us being the first, Stephanie being the first, and many more to come. And such simple things, and I won't bore you with this, but such simple things, and some parents can relate to this that will see this, as the fact that some of the fluorescent lights flickered to these children and it bothered them intensely, and no one had any idea. And those were just little things. But so we started this day, and what it was a resource fair. And the first one was in Fort Lauderdale on the canals there. It was just a small mall. And we advertised it heavily. And I'll never forget the first day, because the first day, a gentleman walked up to me, and he had a 16-year-old son with him. And he said, "Excuse me, Mr. Malden," he says, "my son wants to meet Stephanie." Stephanie had done the PSAs, the advertisements, with me on air, so some people recognized her, and he had seen her, the son, and his father said, "Do you mind if he gives Stephanie a hug?" I said, "Are you kidding? Stephanie loves to hug everybody." And so she gave him a big hug, and I looked over at him, and the father was crying, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he says, "I just have to tell you," and it moves me to even tell the story. Shows you how affected by all this I still am. But he said, "This is the first event in my son's 16-year-old life that we've ever been to that was for kids like him." And I knew we had hit on something. And it just has become a labor of love. And CBS has just been great. And Les Moonves runs our company, and he's always been so supportive of this type of outreach. And it's just been great. We did it for about 3 years in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And then we just finished. I moved to Dallas shortly thereafter and ran the CBS properties in Dallas, Fort Worth. And we just came back on Sunday night from the 11th year of Stephanie's Day in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. And it was great. And this is going to be the 4th here in Los Angeles. And the need is so great. And we're just glad to have a resource fair.